It's three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
Part 2 of our 2024 season preview. There might even be like a part 3 and a part 4 next week.
Never know.
Because we got a week and a half before
So
the
close.
first actual game.
So close.
And we are recording this on NFL Cut Day. We have an agent who had to step away from part 1. His name is Jeremiah Sirles. So if he has to step away, it's because he's doing agent things on NFL Cut
Hour
Day.
and a half to the cut deadline, men. We're almost there.
Let's go.
Rosters have to be set by 4 p.m. Eastern. We are almost there.
Just sweating bullets.
Sweating it out to the
right
end
now,
here.
man.
Sweating it out to the end.
So part 1, we did our 14 playoff teams. There was much consternation and debate. We did our Super Bowl matchups and winners. And then Booney and I, when Agent J had to jump off screen, we continued the list of teams that we think can win the Super Bowl. And it was like 6 or 7 of them. So let's start part 2 here. And we'll start with Jay. We're going to go boldest prediction or like a bold prediction of some kind for the upcoming season. And then we'll do MVPs. We'll get into some dumb football questions, etc. So give us a bold prediction for the 2024 season.
I've got a very, very bold prediction. Bryce Young will throw for 3,000 plus yards. Bryce Young,
3,000?
3,000.
That's not that bold.
For Bryce Young?
If you
With
said
that team?
4,
I think 4.
What did he throw for last year? What did he throw for
I
last year?
think we need 4 for it to be bold.
I need to hear a 4.
I think you need
How
to
about
hear
we meet in
4.
the middle? How about we meet in the middle and go 3,500?
Let's see what he had
Is
last
it
year.
that bold if you're a
Feels a little
he had to
tepid.
go.
Oh,
He
agent
had to
thing.
go.
You're good.
Hold on.
Spam.
Good.
I have to answer all the spam calls.
He's good. He's good. He's
Got to
good.
answer all the spam calls today.
Spammers.
All
Okay,
the spam calls.
dude, he threw for 2,877.
Okay, 4,000 yards. 4,000.
Thank you.
Right there.
Thank
Bryce
you.
Young throws for 4,000 yards this year.
That's a bold take. That is.
4,000 yards.
Which would be the most yards in if he was a Bears quarterback? That would be the most yards in Bears quarterback history.
But you know, okay, here's my reasoning behind this. Right, they go out and they get the cap from the Steelers, right? Deontay Johnson, I believe. Right, so he's there. Thielen's still good for a 1,000-yard season. Right, he's still a 1,000-yard receiver. And then I love that country bumpkin Xavier Leggett, dude. That guy is big.
He is the
can
man.
Run. He's hysterical. Like when they were asking him to spell things, and he was like, "Man, I don't know." I was dying laughing. But I think that he can have it. He has the weapons around him to have a 4,000-yard passing season. So,
Dude,
I'll throw it out there.
okay. Some trivia to go along with this. So, and the Panthers haven't been around that long. What, 1995 or whatever? Yeah, like 95 was their first season.
30 years.
When we talk about Bears quarterbacks,
We're going back to
that franchise that was like the shadows of World War One.
I was
going
going to say
back
that,
to.
that started
And
day 1. Day
Yeah.
1. Since the history books were open, and you still haven't gotten there, which is even crazier.
Can you name the only 2 other Panthers quarterbacks to hit 4,000 yards in a
Jake
season?
Delhomme.
Jake Delhomme's highest was 3,800 yards.
Was it Cam?
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton did it in 2011.
Jimmy Clausen.
Kitna?
I don't see Jimmy Clausen.
Was it Kitna?
Kitna's an interesting guess. Not John Kitna.
Was it Derek Anderson?
It's another fascinating guess. Not Derek Anderson.
We're going through the whole list of Panthers quarterbacks. I mean, before Jake Delhomme, I don't know who was
In
the
fact,
quarterback.
this is the
Well,
by
who's the
far
one
the
that took,
single
who's the one that took
season
him to
leader.
the Super Bowl?
I thought Jake Delhomme.
Well,
Was
Cam
that Delhomme?
Newton.
No, before that.
Oh, Jake
When
Delhomme.
I was in
Yeah.
high school,
it was
it was
Delhomme.
Jake Delhomme.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
watching it. We were drinking beers.
Yeah.
That was wasn't that the Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson tit? Wasn't that her? Or was that Cam Newton?
That was Timberlake and
No,
Janet
that was-
Jackson.
that was
yeah,
Timberlake.
that was Timberlake. Yeah.
Well, that was Carolina, I think. Maybe not.
So this quarterback.
What
he
era?
was
What era is he?
1999. He did it.
99.
Yeah. In fact, dude, he had 4,400 yards, 36 touchdown passes. Pro Bowler. The only time he was ever a Pro Bowler.
Is Byron Leftwich?
I don't think you're going to get it.
I'm not going to get it. I'm out.
Steve Berline.
Never would have
Oh,
guessed that in a
no.
million years.
Stevie Berline.
So, yeah.
I don't even know who that is. At best.
Bryce Young becomes the third quarterback. to
Okay,
do it.
now it's becoming more of a bold take.
Third quarterback to throw for 4,000
Because
That's a bold
otherwise, dude, if it's 3,000, now we're talking about like Kyle Allen threw for 3,000 yards for the Carolina Panthers.
That's fair.
once.
That's fair. I'll go 4,000. Bryce Young throws for 4,000 yards, become the third quarterback to do it. In
You have a
Carolina
real
Panther
big
history.
dick if you say 4,500.
No.
I mean,
Can we get
that's
you,
a
come on,
bold-
set the franchise record.
Do it. Ooh.
4,000 yards. 4,001
Okay.
yard.
Okay.
I want to go next.
You would to steal
You
it, you
would.
son of a bitch.
Go for
because
it.
I just want to get Alex Boone in particular's raw reaction to this. This is a piggyback because I think both of us have the Cowboys missing the playoffs in our part one, right, Booney?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So to continue, Jay wants consistency on this show.
I do want consistency.
So to continue the thread of Dallas having a season that's a little off the rails, things aren't going well. My bold prediction is Mike Zimmer will be the interim or straight up head coach of the Dallas Cowboys before the season is
You've
over.
gone bolder than me then. Dude, I mean, I don't say it's an unrealistic possibility, but I think that it would have to go really bad.
Which
Really
it has the potential to do.
No, it does,
Okay.
dude.
Schedule,
You've waited too long to pay your. Let's hear it.
At Cleveland to start with. And then, okay, home against New Orleans. You should get that game for sure.
It's easy. Those are both easy.
Baltimore, week 3.
Oh.
And then, okay, Giants, Pittsburgh, road games. They're both road games, but Giants and Pittsburgh. By the way, that Giants game, that's a Thursday game. So short week, division.
Where's it at? New York?
It's at New York. And then here's the rest. Now we're into middle October through middle November. Lions at San Francisco, at Atlanta, home against Philly, home against Houston.
Ooh, that's a
Tough.
stretch.
That's the stretch that could put Mike Zimmer
That's a stretch
in the
there.
interim coaching.
But
spot.
even then, they'd be sitting at what, probably 500?
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, maybe you do get fired by then. I mean, we both have the same prediction. I don't see them getting into the playoffs this
I mean,
year.
if it's going off the rails and they can't score points after just paying CeeDee Lamb $36 million a year, that's what would get him fired. Mm-hmm. I think that defensively they're going to be just fine. Like defensively, they've got a lot of dudes, they've got some studs, but if they can't score points like they've become accustomed to scoring points in Dallas, that's where the hot seat will become. Like, we just paid this guy 36. You're on a contract year. We have Jake Ferguson, right? We've got all these things that are happening. Why can't we score points? That's when the hammer comes down.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones too. He had some fun comments.
Oh,
Dude,
my
he
gosh.
He was going to be my mic today because he actually dropped an F-bomb, and finally I was like, I'm not the only one that likes to say nasty words. Like he was literally like, I could fucking do it better than anybody. And it's like, there you go. There's Jerry.
I want to read these.
Read the whole
this
thing.
Is,
it's hilarious.
This is from, by the way, congratulations. So the All City Spot Podcast Network and Media Company, they launched their new brand in Dallas. It's DLLS, Dallas Sports. Day one, this was the launch. Hey, we have an exclusive Jerry Jones interview that's blowing up across the country. Not a better way to launch your sports brand. So Jerry Jones says he's irreplaceable as the GM of the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
In a recent interview, the 81-year-old Spitfire made it clear that he's not going anywhere unless he gets hit by a car. And in case of that, he's confident his children can get the job done if he does get hit by a car. Quote from Jerry, "I've done it all. So I have an inordinate amount of confidence that, fuck, if anyone can figure out how to get this shit done, I can figure out how to get it done," Jerry Jones told Dallas Sports.
Unbelievable.
I've been there every which way from Sunday, and I've busted my ass a bunch. And there's nobody living that's out cutting and shooting that can't give you a bunch of times they busted their ass. So hell no, there's nobody that could fucking come in here and do all the contracts and be a GM any better than I can. Plus, I'm where the buck stops. When it fucks up, I gotta cover it. So there you can't give anybody enough. You can't give. There's nobody that can do it, he said.
It's unbelievable, dude.
Love
Talk about just like walking out there and just dropping your dick on the table.
He's basically
Boom.
like, fuck all of
Yeah,
you.
double birds.
Ever
And
tell
everyone be
me I
like, this
can't
is
do
my
it.
team. I don't care
Oh.
what no one says. Like, they might as well name it the Dallas Jerrys, dude. Like, it is 100% that man's team.
I love it.
That
I
was
love it.
nuts.
I love it.
Man.
Do what you got to do,
So,
man.
all right. So I'm
sorry.
Cowboys. Mike Zimmer is going to look great holding
my
that
one
clipboard.
thing is, like, at the end of the day, though, like, you talked a pretty big game about not paying CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you talked a pretty big game, and, like, I get it. There's gamemanship that goes in when he's talking with the agents, what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, CD won.
Oh, yeah.
Hasn't he talked a big game
CD
with Zach Martin?
Won.
He previously with Dak Prescott a couple years ago talked a big game, right?
Like, at the end of the day, I don't know a player that has not won in a holdout contract situation against Jerry Jones in that front office.
And they know it now, right? He's going to bloviate, and he's going to say that it should be an honor and a privilege to play for the star and put the Dallas Cowboys helmet on. But if you just wait a little longer,
and guess who's
he'll
been taking
probably
notes?
write you a check.
Micah Parsons' agent. And then I say this, and then I say that.
It's
and then he will
it's the
say
same
this,
thing. The
and
owner's
then I'll
gonna,
say this,
yeah.
and then I'll break records with the highest paid defensive end deal.
Dude, the owner's always going to say what he's going to say, but at the same time, this is the hardest thing that people don't understand about a holdout. You have to be the dude. You have to be the one that's like, no, I'm controlling this ship. Without me, you fucking lose. How do I know? I'm going to let you go play that preseason without me. You go tell me how good it looked. And by the way, think about what it's going to look like without me not there fucking week 12. Like, you're going to need me eventually. That's when the holdout, that's when everyone's kind of like, dude, Trent Williams, I swear to God. I thought this motherfucker would be signed after the last preseason game. I thought they'd be like, do whatever you want. 50? You want $50 million? I'll pay you $50 million. Fucking come back. They're like, no, we're good. And I really don't think they understand, like, your fucking season could go bye-bye with one guy on that offensive line not showing up. And that's where it becomes crazy with these holdouts. Like, the minute Jerry started spouting off, like, fuck this, we're not going to pay him, I was like, ooh, you're going to eat those words. Why? Because CD is your fucking team right now. He's the guy you're going to lean on. It's not Dak. You paid Dak $140. What did you get for it? Fuck all. It's time to move on, right? It's time to move on to the next guy and go, okay, well, maybe if I elevate your price tag, you'll make this better. At the same time, like, did you wait too long to do it? Like, at some point, Jared,
CD's not going to be ready week 1. Like,
no, dude, I've
so
been
like
through a
game-
holdout. You're not
game
ready for like week
caliber?
4. You don't feel good until like you're beat up because it's right. You're going in fresh, and the minute you get hit, your body's like, whoa, what is that? We haven't been hit like this in weeks. We haven't been hit like this in a year. And not only that, but then the next day you wake up and you're like, totally forgot how this feels. Wow, I wish I was like the rest of the team that was kind of hardened and calloused up by now, but I'm not. So now I'm going to need extra time to get ready. Like, dude, there's so much. Your hamstrings get super tight. My fucking hip flexors were shooting through the roof, and I was like, I've done this for 30 years. This is nothing new, but the problem is the minute you take it from 0 to 100% stress, the body's like, dude, you didn't think a grace period of like 4 weeks with your boys was no? Okay, never mind. We'll just jump into this World War thing. That's cool. Dude, it's hard. And that's why I don't think they're going to be good enough. And honestly, I just don't have faith in them anymore. I'm sorry. Like, I love Jerry for coming out and being like, fuck all you, I can do this better than you. But like, no, you can't. He's
done a pretty good job. People clowning him for being a GM, but he's put together some talented rosters.
100%. And I mean, he's drafted okay. He's had some misses, right? But overall, I feel like he's done a really good job. Like over the years, I mean, he hasn't been to the Super Bowl in a while, but like
that's kind of the biggest thing we're looking at.
But the team
I'm gonna
is
be honest
always
with you. Talented enough not to win the Super Bowl. I know you are the most mediocre team in the league.
But can you put that on him, or is that on coaching? Like, if Jerry's
At some
the GM,
point, I have to
if
put
Jerry's
it-
the GM, and
It
the
always
owner,
falls on the GM with me.
and
Know
he
that.
builds
Know that.
and he builds the team.
Yeah.
Like, he can't coach the team. And
Well,
he never
but
once
he-
has said he wanted to coach the team.
But
And
he
he's
puts the
brought-
coaches in place. And if you feel like Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy are not good playoff coaches, well, that falls on, as Jarrah said, the buck stops. The
me.
buck stops with me.
I always think it's the GM's fault. Yeah, it's your fault that we're not winning. You clearly didn't bring us enough talent to win the games. At some point, if you don't do it, like, everyone has to turn around and be like, well, maybe we're just not that fucking good. I mean, I think that there's GMs that are doing a way better job than Jerry Jones. I think there's GMs that really crush him.
Okay, Booney, so you've already given us a couple bold takes that the Texans are going to win the Super Bowl.
Let's go.
And that the Broncos are going to make the playoffs. So
Chicago's making the playoffs. Dude.
So that's just 3. Do you have another bold take that hasn't already been unleashed in your
Dallas
pick?
doesn't make the playoffs was one. Oh, and I had one more, and I feel really bad saying
dude,
this.
Why don't you
But
hedge
you
and
brought
give
it
us
up
your-
first. You said somebody was getting fired first, so I guess I have another bold take. And I love. I don't know. I don't think that Dennis Allen's going to make it out of the season either. I was watching their game versus Frisco, and yeah, their defense was just annihilating Brock Purdy. But then I turn around and I look at their offense, and it's the same fucking thing. And you're like, dude, what's going on? Like, quarterback's running for his life. At some point, we got to figure that out. The Kamara situation. Like, this whole thing, you guys, they're another one. They're like the opposite, though. I look at them on paper, and I go, well, this team could be really good. And then you watch them play, and you're like, not so much.
if we threw a flag on Jay for the 3,000 yards, Bryce Young, I got to throw a flag on you. Dennis Allen tied for the 3rd most likely coach to be fired to start the season.
Well, that was just off the cuff.
Mike
Like,
McCarthy and Dennis Allen.
I don't think Robert Saleh gets fired. I don't think that at all. I think that
It's
he is
not that bold of a take.
Well,
give me Sean McDermott, and I'll allow it.
Oh, no way, dude.
I have
Give
him winning the
me-
division.
Give me well, Nick Sirianni's not even that.
Yeah, that's not even that hot of a take. I mean, I gave you 7 of them. Do you need another one?
The hottest take would be, I think if we're talking about the hottest, boldest take would be that Mike Tomlin doesn't make the year.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh,
Did
no.
you guys have you watched their offense?
That's bad.
Have you watched
it's bad.
Yeah,
what
dude, well,
Russell
for
and
years.
Justin Fields have done?
Yeah,
Dude,
nothing.
they played those 2 quarterbacks who have started games in the NFL for multiple years. One has won a Super Bowl. They started an entire preseason game and put up 6 points. 6
it's brutal.
points. It
I
is
know, it's bad.
atrocious.
It's bad.
like
We
And
got
Ru-
on him
and Ru-
last
and
week,
Russ,
remember?
dude, Russ
We
isn't
talked
even
about Arthur
bothering
Smith.
with the fake leadership stuff anymore. I feel like, in
I
Seattle,
think
and then the first year in Denver, it was like, let's ride. This is
Yeah.
my team. Here we go. Social media videos, all that. I feel like even he kind of knows it's over.
Oh, dude.
He's like keeping a low profile.
that would be the boldest take. I think the only other bolder take than that would be that Jerod Mayo would get fired this year. That would be a bold take.
Wow.
But dude, you can't, because I was thinking that, and then we're gonna obviously get into it in a little bit. But the Drake May thing, he made some really fucking impressive throws. Like one where he was moving to the left and threw a dart down the field, and I was like, you know what? You should start Jacoby Brissett. You're right, because the offensive line was just getting him pummeled. And I was like, you know what? I don't know that this can fall on anybody, but you do need some work up there. And I think that, Jay, if Mike Tomlin were to get fired mid-year, that would be the harshest thing possible.
I
like,
feel
dude,
like it would have to be
mid-year, you'd have
that
to-
organization, though. They've had 3 head coaches since the 60s. They'd want to do it the right way. So something would have to go so sideways in that locker room.
I mean,
even if they were like
1 and
2-9,
6?
but wouldn't they just ride it out then? And
feel like they
do,
would.
do the respectful
The
thing. and
Roonies
then-
would not, dude. The Roonies
You
would
would
not
think.
fire. No, they
You would
wouldn't.
think.
They wouldn't. Well, we thought that about Green Bay and Mike McCarthy. And remember
did.
halfway, and we were like, wait, what? Like, the league always surprises you. Every year they throw out a
might
little
do
surprise.
the thing where it's just like, hey, at the end of the year, we're moving on,
I feel bad. for
right? Like
Tomlin.
I could see them doing that at like, hey, and week 12, like we have decided that at the end of the regular season, we're gonna go in a different direction than Mike Tomlin.
I don't even think they would do that. It's the Roonies, man. You got to think
And
they're the nicest.
Like they're
God.
gonna let him finish it out, ride
Oh,
it out,
yeah.
but like say like with like 6-8 weeks left, we're gonna go in a different direction.
So
Okay,
what's
what-
bolder? Saying that he's going to get fired mid-year, or saying that they're going to make the playoffs?
Oh, they're not making the playoffs, Alex.
So making the playoffs would be bolder.
Alex,
The visceral reaction from
I'm
Jay.
just asking a question. I mean,
that team is. I mean, their defense is still ridiculous. Like,
There's my boldest
but they
prediction. They're
just
gonna make the
can't
playoffs.
Score
Wow.
points.
Wow, dude.
They can't score points, dude.
It's bad.
They are anemic of trying to score.
we
points.
talked about this 2 weeks ago. Remember, we got on Arthur Smith. I don't think he changed anything since, so I'm not excited.
We'll see.
I'm going to give you, before we get to some dumb football questions, and I'm going to give you 2 like cutting room floor bold takes. They didn't make my official bold takes.
Okay.
They're like on the bench bold takes, but I feel like I should throw them at you guys just for fun. Number 1, Michael Penix becomes the Atlanta Falcons starting quarterback before Thanksgiving on merit, not on injury. Yep.
Wow.
And number 2, despite their transitioning roster and impossible division in terms of Chiefs being in it, Jim Harbaugh finds a way to put the Chargers in the playoffs
Dude,
with at least 9
you're
wins.
both of those are so. Those are drunken
Fight me, dude.
speculation. That's exactly what the fuck that is. That's drunken speculation. I can't even listen to this shit right now.
That's like my brother. My brother called me and said they had their fantasy football draft, and he's like, dude, the problem was we all went out, we drank a bunch of moonshine, and then I ended up drafting Kyle Pitts. And I was like, why would you do that? He's like, dude, it looked really good at the time.
No.
Like I was able to convince myself.
No.
He's like, and then I woke up the next morning, I was like, oh, what did you do? Like,
dude.
Did
I
you
gotta
see
be
the Falcons team building photo in
listen,
the pool? And
No,
Pitts,
but-
Kyle Pitts had a life jacket.
life jacket in the pool.
Oh, I didn't see this. Hey, listen.
Dude,
to
he's
say
just
that he's
bobbing,
going to be in on merit, that's bold. Like that, dude. You realize that they paid this man.
Achilles.
I don't know, dude.
He's
got a lot of weight.
And you know what else you just did?
Take.
You brought the Kirk Crusaders back. Why the fuck would you do that? We had them gone to Atlanta, and now they're going to find this, dude. They're going to find this episode. They're coming for you.
There's one guy in our comments. He's got a crazy, ridiculous username, but he hates you.
Yeah, Bob 95682.
He is not Bob. If you're listening to this, I don't know what Mackey did to you.
No,
or
Bob,
your
tell us what
family,
Mackey did.
but
I want to
like,
know in the
dude,
comments.
You'll rattle off like 4 comments in a row about how like fat and bald he is. Like it's brutal.
You guys read the comments.
Not as fat as you think, okay? And I shave my head by choice, just so everyone knows.
Where's my
It's much more
Damn
efficient
it, where's
that
my
way.
bell?
The Crusaders are back. That's definitely a lying fine.
All right, let's go DFQs. What do we got?
Okay. Dumb football questions here. You can always submit your dumb football questions in the O-Line Committee YouTube channel comment section. And if you haven't already, click the like button and the subscribe button on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. Help us grow this thing. Apple and Spotify, too, for the audio audience. A 5-star rating and a positive review goes a long ways to help us grow the show with the season coming up. So, okay, dumb football questions. Let's go with this is a good one for cut day. Michael Endicott. What are the top reasons why players don't last on the originally drafted team, like the team that drafted them? And let's say, like, I mean, if it's a 7th round pick, sometimes it's just a roster crunch and you're not good enough. But what are the top reasons why talented young players don't stick on the teams that drafted them?
You know, I think honestly, one of the biggest things for me is that they can't figure it out offensively, and we talk about this a lot to a lot of our young players.
The mental game.
Like these kids now they're so athletic. They're so much more athletic than we ever were. Their biggest problem is they can't put one foot in front of the other while they're thinking. And in a lot of football is like you have to be mastered past the point of thinking that it just becomes a reaction. And like I don't need to be told 12 times who the new mic is. Like the minute it's said, even in the background, it could be like, "Hey, new mic 12." Instantly my brain goes, 12 is my new target. Like guys can't get with that as fast as they used to be able to because offenses in college have fucked them. And I've said this to college kids and college coaches, and I get it. Whoever's drawing these plays up is trying to keep it simple so that everybody can learn. I got that. But the minute you step into our world, it's like, no, dude, that word that you're saying actually means something. So every time you say it, my brain gets hit a different way. So stop saying it or figure out the new code. Like, there's so much you have to learn. And we were just talking to somebody's dad, and we were talking about how, like, when you go play for Dayball, you're going to have to know 450 words like that. When you go play for G-Row, it's the same thing. There's 400 code words. You have to know them. If you don't know all 400, you're not on my team. That's just how the coaches look at it. They go, well, you're just clearly not smart enough to figure it out, which means you don't care, which means you're lazy, which means why would I want you? Like, they just keep going down these rabbit holes, and no matter how good you are, no matter how fucking talented you are, no matter how athletic you are, there's someone with a little bit less talent that gets it. Goes, yeah, I get that's a Lucky, that's a Ricky. This is why this is like I get the new mics, and they start making faster calls, and they can process faster, and it's just the way it is, and that's one of the biggest things for me as to why young guys don't make it, even on their own team.
Yeah, I think another reason is if you're drafted, sometimes you get this feeling that you're safe, right? Like you get this feeling that like, oh, they drafted me, they want me for my 4-year contract, right? If you're not drafted in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round, there ain't nothing guaranteed for 4 years. You're usually pretty safe for the 1st year, right? You're usually like, okay, they drafted you in the 4th or the 5th. Like they invested a decent signing bonus. Like you're probably going to make active for the 1st year. But so many times guys come back for that 2nd year. And if you didn't put the work in, if you didn't do everything that you needed to do, and you walked in here thinking you were safe, and then you think you can just turn it on when like OTAs and training camp comes along, and all of a sudden someone who has outworked you is now performing better than you, they don't give a shit that you were drafted the year before. Like they could care less. And so all of a sudden you're playing catch up, and then you're finding yourself in 4th, 5th on the depth chart, and you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And then the next thing you know, they're asking you to bring your iPad in today, right? Like that happens quite often versus an undrafted free agent never feels that way. I never once felt safe in my entire career, even in 2017. When they looked at me and they said, "You're not playing in the 4th preseason game." I was like, "Is that because you're trying to make sure I don't get hurt, so you can cut me and I'm not injured?" Right? Like that's where my brain went. And they're like, "No, stupid. It's because we want you on the team." I was like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Right? But there's so many times that you see guys that come in that were like 4th, 5th round picks that they just like, oh, yeah, I'm good. And all of a sudden they get cut, and you're like, oh, well, they didn't put the work in. Right? Like that happens a lot. I think that the safety factor and the comfortability factor, the second you get comfortable in the NFL, you're going to get shown the door.
And honestly, to Jay's point, year 1 to year 2 is a bigger transition. Like the team expects you to take a bigger step.
Yes.
And if you don't take that step, you're gone. Like,
yes.
And I'll say this, I'm not even going to say third rounders anymore. First and second rounders are fine the first year. You're going to make it no matter what. Third rounders could get fucking traded. You could get cut. At some point, they don't fucking care anymore. Like when I came in, if you were drafted, you're good. Now it's like slowly every year a round goes down, and it's like, well, maybe we don't fucking need this guy. Yeah, we fucked up. Big deal. Like instantly I was like, holy shit. But even now, so from year 1 to year 2, they're looking at these guys and they're going, what steps did he take? What did he change about his game? Is he bigger? Is he faster? Is he stronger? Is he smarter? If he's not any of those
things, if you
things,
stay the same from year 1
you're
to
fucking
year 2,
cut. You're cut. You're never
done.
Browns just cut. Who is that 3rd round defensive tackle
I
from
told you.
2023?
Yeah.
From like LSU, and
Yep.
he was like
They don't
a
give a
mid
shit.
3rd round pick, 320-pound dude. They just cut him going into year 2.
and you know what goes
Titans
against them?
just cut a first rounder from 2021.
You know what goes against them is when you get an undrafted guy that shows up and balls the fuck out. And instantly that guy who feels like he's got a chip on his shoulder is kind of like, I'm not comfortable. I have to keep going. Like, that's kind of like the fairness in all this. Now they're starting to be like, well, shit, this guy was drafted later. He's costing less, doing more. Oh, we're not stupid. We're not going to wait around for this fucking third rounder to figure it out. Get rid of him. We'll keep the younger guy. Like, instantly.
What was the Vikings O-lineman from Ohio State?
Who?
From where? What?
Ohio State. He was a 3rd rounder. They cut him like in his 2nd year. Wyatt something?
Oh, Wyatt Davis.
Wyatt Davis.
He just got cut again. I just saw he got cut again.
He was a 3rd rounder, right?
Yeah.
And they cut him his 2nd year?
Year 2.
Yeah.
Year 2, right? I mean, it's just one of those things. The NFL going into year 2 does not care where you were drafted. They do not care. And if you walk into there thinking I was drafted and I kind of just did shit all this offseason and hung out because I finally got an offseason, I got some money in my pocket, like life's grand and good, and you show up not ready to roll, they will show you the door so fast.
Here's your hat.
All right,
What's your hurry?
This one's from Refill 1. And yes, I know that we didn't get to MVPs, but that's why we have a part 3 and a part 4 maybe next week.
We got lots of time.
Season preview stuff. So we will do MVPs. Refill 1 says, do players hate having to talk about rookies during press conferences or media scrums? I hear veteran players being asked multiple questions about rookies sometimes during their press conferences, and sometimes to me it looks like veteran players are put off by it. So you guys are crusty old veterans being asked about rookies. Is that annoying for you?
Depends on the rookie. If he's a good rookie and he's doing everything right, and you as a veteran feel secure in your spot, then no. I don't think veterans have a lot of problem being like, he's doing a great job. But if you're battling said rookie for a roster spot or for a starting spot, right? They draft a 1st round running back and you're the 4th year running back, right? And you're on a contract year and you want to be the starter and you're fighting the 1st round and they're asking you like, hey, how good's this young kid? We're hearing all this great stuff about him. Like the last thing you want to do is pump that dude up. You don't want to be like, he's going to be a great player, because you're just signing your death certificate, right? So I think
then the news cycle,
then the news cycle goes.
And
so I think there's a fine line of being a good teammate and also, I don't need to put nails in my own coffin.
Yeah, Boone, were you ever asked about?
No, I wasn't really asked about rookies.
No,
I think everybody knew I didn't really want to talk about them. It didn't bother me. I think for to be a rookie, I didn't. It was more like if somebody asked me. I think somebody asked me initially about Laquan Treadwell when I was here, and I was like, give a shit. Fucking receiver, he just got here today. Who cares? And they were like, oh, are you excited? And I was like, he hasn't done anything. Like, what the hell is there to be excited about? Turned out that was a flop.
Yeah, LaQuantosaurus Rex. What was the other nickname for him? Megaquan.
Dude,
I think was the other.
Hey, I remember one time, Jay, you might have been on the field with me. We were at a practice, and it was like a training camp, and the ball zinged right over my head, went right off of his hands, and it was a 3rd down. And I think we all just, instead of saying anything, we all just turned around and walked away. And we're like, well, that sucks. We lost that 2 minute. I'm not even kidding you. It hit him square in the fucking hands, and he dropped it. I remember going, well, we're fucked. A receiver in the first round that can't catch a ball. Like
I just
that's where it
remember him
starts.
saying. I just remember him saying, and I don't want to shit all over this kid. I just remember him saying, like, I was first rounder. I don't play special teams. Like, I remember vividly him saying that, and I was like, yeah, this kid.
Yeah, ain't gonna last.
This is gonna be a tough
work
game.
here.
This is gonna be a tough.
Do you not know our GM Rick Spielman's a psycho? You'll do what he fucking says you'll do. Like, know your audience.
You ever met Mike Prefer?
Have you met Mike Zimmer? Have you met him?
Mike Prefer will kill you. And you'll never find the body.
Hey.
He was
Mike
he was a
Prefer
helicopter pilot.
He was a
blast you
lieutenant
into the
in the
sun
Navy.
and nuke it.
Yeah,
Dude,
he
Prefer,
was not to be trifled with.
he is still my favorite. One of my
I
favorite
love,
coaches.
dude. I'll never forget when I showed up. I got traded week 1 to the Vikes, and I was going to be on field goal that week, and so I went in, met with Prefer. Like, he was phenomenal. He was great. He was calm. He was like, I was like, oh, this dude's really cool. First game day, dude's walking up and down the sideline, talking shit to the 49ers kicker at the kickoff. Like, you're going to put it out of bounds, pussy. Like, and I was like, who is this guy, dude? Like, we ran a fake punt. We won a fake punt one time, and it didn't work. And, like, Anthony Barr said something to Prefer, and I thought Prefer was going to scalp him on the sideline. Like, people were holding him back. He's like, don't you ever. He's, like, jumping over. I was like, this dude is awesome. I loved Mike Prefer.
He was, without a doubt. By the way,
man.
Cleveland guy. You got to know he's from Cleveland. Fucking love him. He is my favorite. He actually coaches in Cleveland still, I think.
Yep.
And
Prefer's the man.
I remember that
Is he still a special teams coordinator?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When I first got to the Vikings, everyone was like, "All right, listen, everyone here is really cool. This guy's kind of an asshole." They're like, "But Prefer, don't talk to him on game day." I go, "What?"
Don't
I'm like,
even
that
look
guy
at
right there. He came over, introduced me to his family. He's like, "Oh, Booney, I'm from Cleveland too. Such a great job to have a Cleveland guy here." And I was like, "That guy." They're like, "You just wait." And I think that my first moment was when he tried to headbutt me on the sideline. He something happened on kickoff return. It was drilled back down late, and he grabbed my face mask and poof. And I was like, what the fuck was that? And he was like, fucking KOR, come here. And I was like, oh, this guy's hot. I'm not going near him.
He was nuts.
Blood
Oh,
running
I
down
love
his
him.
face, dude.
I
Love him. And when he got that job for that Thursday night game, I swear to God, I don't think any of us played any harder because
Dude, I
it
wanted to
was
win
him.
for him
We
so
wanted
bad.
to win that game so
So
bad
bad
for
when
him.
he was
We
the interim.
loved him as a dude. He was just a great guy. Great guy.
The Preef monster.
Mike, I love you.
I don't know where this one's going to go. This might lead to a great story, or you might just shrug and shoot it down.
I got to go.
now it's a great
phone's
story.
ringing. Agent stuff happening.
Don't say it.
Well, it's for Jay, so I'll save this one for next week. How about this one, Booney? Last one for you.
Yep.
From Sensitized. I have a question about the recruiting process. I'm a high school right guard. I play for a 1A small 1A school in high school. Mm-hmm. Even if I'm really good, will I get overlooked even if I do reach out to colleges because I play for a small 1A high school?
What state?
He didn't say what state.
Boy, I don't know. That's a good question. Recruiting is so different now, and you hear these coaches, like when I went to college, we were recruited 30 kids to a class, right? Now they're saying they're barely recruiting 5 because they're trying to go to junior colleges, and they're trying to find all these transfers, and they're trying to do, this whole thing has become a fucking mess, dude. Just bad. And it's bad because you're losing high school kids that are going to college to play football right away, and instead it's like we're just going to keep moving kids all around the country, and it's like that's not really fun anymore. And I think when it comes to when you email somebody, if you were to email a recruiter from Ohio State and be like, hey, my name is so-and-so, I play at a 1A school, instantly they're going to be like, brrr, right? They might watch the film, but at the same time, they're going to be like, could this kid play at a 5A school? And honestly, the one thing that makes up the difference with everything is coaching. When you go to these 5A schools, I went to a 5A school, the coaches are fucking hardcore, man. They've just been doing it for 30, 40 years. They understand. My high school coach was John Gibbons. He's a fucking legend. One of the toughest dudes to ever wear shoes. Coach Joe Jervicius, Coach LaCharles Bentley, coach guys that played significant careers in the NFL that would always come back and be like, this guy was a fucking bad at. All this shit was crazy. And honestly, it's so hard to explain because when we would
You'd
play,
have to get to a camp or something and
you
meet
would,
some of
but
these
even
coaches,
then,
right?
you got to dominate because whatever's behind you is what they see, right? It's one of these 1A. I know there's 6A in that state. What's he playing against? Could he dominate? I think if you send the film, they'll watch it. But, I mean, even before we get into all that, recruiting's not even the same anymore. I've heard Dion be like, I'm not getting high school kids. I'm going after transfers. I'm going after that. And it's where are all the high school kids going then? Are they all having to go to JUCO now? Are they all having to wait? Are they enrolling in school as walk-ons? Like, this whole thing, in my opinion, has become a fucking mess. And it used to be really simple, and now it's not. And I feel bad for kids like that. We talked
I'll tell
about
you, man. I would not want to be, and it's
Oh,
trickling
no.
into high school, but
No.
a college coach, man, like
No.
you think you got your roster set, and then now 20 dudes turn over because you had a bad year or you yelled at somebody,
Right.
Or your
I didn't
NIL
feel the
fund
love.
wasn't,
Or there's no more money left, or whatever. Like, dude, it's becoming too much, honestly. And I know everyone's like, no, it's part of the game, and you gotta let these kids grow. But it's like, you took away one of the most basic principles of school, was to get these kids an education. Like, looking back, Coach Tress would always say this to us. He'd be like, listen, 5 of you are going to go play in the NFL. Of this team, 5 of you will make it into the NFL next year. The rest of you will need normal jobs. The rest of you will go on to work a normal life, and it is what it is. Don't be mad. You have a free education. But now I feel like it's not even about an education anymore. And it makes you wonder. And this is like the advanced part of football that I've always been into, because I get all the sub things and I get why people do what they do in the NFL and how the colleges work. But when you're sitting there and you start to like go down these rabbit holes, you're like, are we really doing any good for these kids? We're bringing hundreds of kids in every year to play football. And at the end of the day, are they graduating? And after that, what are they doing after that? We're paying them a fortune. Are we even watching classes anymore? I mean, classes are all online now. And it's like, dude, there was a time when college was a betterment for you to either go to the NFL or get a free degree to go get a job. And I'm not saying that you need a degree for every job, but at some point it's going to come back around where people are like, yeah, no, we need a validation. We're going to need these college credentials again. And I just feel like the NCAA has really fucked it up and made it more about money and less about a degree and education. And it's like, I don't know. It's fucked up.
Yeah, dude, it's tough because like your best chance to become a professional football player or to make money NIL is to give your life to football between 17, 18, 19, 20, but it's not going to change the small percentage that actually make it to the NFL. So,
Right. And
yeah, it's
and as a player, you have to think about, it's not about the 1%, it's about the 99%. Are those guys good? Are they doing okay? And I'll be honest, there's a lot of my teammates that I'm like, are you doing okay? And it's like, I wish we would have been a little more serious at times, because I think in the moment we all think we're going pro. But at the same time, at least I know that Tressel, when guys left, they had their degrees. I mean, I got a phone call. I played 10 years in the league. I got a phone call every year. Why don't you finish in that degree? I was like, coach, they want me to physically be on campus. And he's like, so you can't show up? And I was like, I'm a little busy with off-season stuff. He's like, fucking degree, dude. Get your degree. What are you, too lazy to? And I was like, I finally got it. But eventually I look back and I go, dude, he was so right. Like,
what was your major?
History. It was amazing. I was a war history major, and I had one of my teachers was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam, and so he would tell me stories, and we would meet a lot and talk about different things about the war. And it was awesome because he let me write reports about it, and a lot of my teachers were in wars, so I got to go talk to them about stuff, and it was a lot of fun. But looking back, I remember being like, this is so stupid. I'm gonna go pro. And I look and think about how fucking naive I was, and like, I was a broken ankle away from not ever playing again.
Yeah.
That's my whole point. And people are like, oh, no, you're good. And you're like, no, dumbass. Like, I get it. I'm the one that made it out, but I was also the one that started thinking, like, man, I got out by the skin of my fucking teeth. Because had I just had a fucking little ankle issue, I don't play in the NFL. And then all of a sudden, I need that degree, right? And that's why this whole college thing for me has become so unfun to watch. It really is, because these dudes are making more than my mom, and she's the fucking director of surgery at a hospital. And I'm like, you don't do
crazy.
shit. I got to talk to them, and they tell me how much they make, and I go, fucking serious? And I almost got suspended for drinking free beer, and you're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm still the criminal in this whole situation. And that's another thing. No one's ever apologized to be like, hey, guys, we were really harsh on you guys. We didn't even let you get a cheeseburger. We didn't let you get beer. We're going to go pay these guys millions. Don't be mad at us. We still think of you as criminals, but these guys are not. And it's like, that's such bullshit.
It is crazy, man. Like the fact that Reggie Bush went 15
Fucking
years
bullshit,
without
dude.
touching his Heisman Trophy, or it's
Like, who the fuck is the NCAA to do all this shit, dude? And then they come out and they label you as like a rogue team, and these guys were taking benefits. It's like, I think
cheaters.
yeah,
and-
dude, don't even
yeah.
get me started on what they're doing with players now. I'm like, dude, this is such baloney.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I'm with you. On one hand, when there's billions and billions of dollars in revenue coming in off the backs of players, I think players should get a slice, but it changes the entire dynamic. It
But
de-emphasizes the importance of like planning for life after football.
But
like,
that was the whole point, is like when we played, going to school to get a free degree was enough. Hey, my mom doesn't have to pay for this degree. I don't have to take a loan out to pay for this degree. Sure, I'll play some football. Oh, and in the process, I could also go play in the NFL. Boy, this sounds like a real win-win for me. Like, I just wonder, and I know there's going to be a ton of people that come at me, and I don't fucking care because I know how everything has been played for years and years. But, like, the fact that they still went so hard on all of us and called us all cheaters and, like, took all this, and now they're just giving millions. Like, dude, there's quarterbacks driving Lamborghini Uruses.
Dude, they shut the SMU football program down, death penalty,
I know.
like 30 years ago because was it Eric Dickerson? I mean, these dudes are driving around
Dude, how about this?
$150,000.
The Georgia fucking quarterback got a private jet. Dude, we've gone way too far. I'm sorry, but the last Georgia quarterback just threw 4 interceptions in the last 3 preseason games. I think we're going way out on a limb here.
And you've seen Caleb Williams, and all above board, obviously, because he was in the NAL era, but he's literally living in like a penthouse in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Some sort of $10 million.
I'm not even kidding you. Somebody saw me carry a case of beer out of a bar one time, and they were like, I can't wait to tell the NCAA. And I was like, this is such bullshit.
I'm telling you, man,
bullshit.
I think I've told you this story before, but when I was hosting a talk radio show on ESPN Twin Cities, like 4-hour talk show, we'd go do shows at the Minnesota State Fair or whatever, be out and about.
Yeah.
And Rachel Banham, who's been a longtime WNBA player now, she was the Minnesota Gophers women's basketball star player at the time. She was like a freshman, 20 points a game. Like Kobe Bryant was shouting her out on Twitter. She was this like hotshot women's basketball player. And she shows up to the State Fair to be, do a live interview with us, be on stage. So she comes walking up on stage, and I toss her one of our 1,500 ESPN T-shirts for her to take. Yeah, have a free T-shirt. SID person comes up, grabs the shirt, and says, she can't take that T-shirt. That's an improper benefit. Literally a free $10 T-shirt is an improper benefit in college basketball.
It's improper because she was
get her
offered that
suspended, man.
Do you know why? Because we obviously had to know why. It's an improper benefit because nobody else at the school was offered that shirt, but you were only offered it because of your ability. Which I turn right around and go, I think the school should be fucking lucky that I'm here. Then I think the school should do as much as they can to fucking keep me here instead of calling me a cheater and making me have to work my ass off. Like, it's insane. And the fact that America is standing behind this is almost making me nervous because I'm like, did we not see what the point of college was? Oh, we did? Okay. Just making sure. And I would love to know how paying all these players is better than what it was before.
Yeah, I mean, we should almost do this over a full episode because I'd be curious what Jay's thoughts are on it too. I keep going back to if college football is going to be whatever it is, like an $8 billion industry with these massive TV deals, then the star players that move the needle that you tune in to watch, like they should be able to make a couple bucks and change their lives because this might be the only chance they get to make like family changing money.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that's wrong. My whole point was how fast it shifted. Like one day we were cheaters, the next day it was like, you know what? Yeah, we'll pay.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
Good. Like dude,
morally, ethically, yes.
That's my whole point. I think
it's more about like how you guys for generations were dumped on.
Yeah,
for benefiting, for tapping into this.
It's like you said, you couldn't even get a T-shirt. Dude, have you seen like the videos of the guys going through their lockers and like, oh, new locker, and they open it up and it's all this stuff? I remember going to Lewis, our equipment guy, as a senior, all American, like, hey, I need a new pair of shoes. My things are running a little low, and he'd be like, tough shit. I'd be like,
yeah,
I don't think you know who I am. I'm the left tackle. And he's like, I don't think you know who I am. I'm the guy that says no. And I was like, Lewis, what the fuck? And he was like, sorry, bud. We're not budgeted for that. And I was like, so you mean to tell me that the softball team can get a new sweatsuit every season with a new pair of shoes and a new rain jacket, and a new pair of shorts and a new fucking hat and all this shit in a backpack, and all I get is my shitty loop every day with the same fucking shorts I had from freshman year? And he was like, yeah, that's how it goes.
Correct.
Do you know why? Because football pays for fucking everything. And I was like, once again, this is just not making sense to me. I'm confused. I just need one fucking T-shirt or a pair of shorts, and you're telling me we can't do that? And he'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, man. Man, it's amazing how fast everything Everything flipped, man.
Crazy, bro.
Well, this
You
was
ready to
part
break it
2.
down?
Do we have time? I think we do.
You got like 5 minutes.
Actually, here's what we'll do. We're going to
Tell
say
me.
goodbye on this part 2 of this NFL season preview. We get part 3 next week, part 4, part 7. I don't know how many parts it's going to be.
Oh my
Boone.
God, it's gonna be amazing.
It's going to be a lot. But we hope to do a Drake May film breakdown. If not today, sometime this week. We've got it ready to rock and roll. A lot of people wondering whether he should be starting or not week 1. We've got
Fuck it,
those
let's do
answers
it. Let's just pull it up. We can do it real quick. Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll do a part 3.
So we'll say goodbye here. Peace out, you guys. Thanks for supporting the O-Line Committee, and we'll see you on a Drake May film breakdown.